Hello everyone, you have come to Tata Comic Preview channel. Let read together. Have fun. Crash. With a huge bang, the green light around Song Lin's body was decimated, along with Song Lin's frail body. Blood splattered everywhere, gore squelching as it touched the ground. Zhuo Fan's claw had turned a human being in a shower of blood and giblets.
Ah!
The audience gasped and cried. Yi Lin's eyes squinted, piqued by the appearance of purple lightning. I was right, after all. That's... Zhuo Fan stepped again with one down and closed in on Song Shan. Watching his brother reduced to fertilizer, Song Shan was scared out of his mind. But even if he ran, could he escape the likes of Zhuo Fan? Seeing Zhuo Fan upon him, he could only stake it all. Mountain and forest's shadow, the crushing mountain. Boom. He pushed out both his palms as he shouted. With a loud rumble, the yellow power rolled forward, like a 1,000-meter-tall mountain, straight for Zhuo Fan. Such a blow would render anyone's body to a pulp. A shame he wasn't dealing with just anyone. In the face of Zhuo Fan and his soaring Qilin arm famed through the world for its unmatched strength, he might as well be attacking with a toothpick. Zhuo Fan's mouth split into a nasty grin. His right hand flashed as he punched. Boom. The earth-shaking sound came from Zhuo Fan's sacred arm striking the yellow power the same way towering waves fell upon a sand castle. It crushed it to harmless motes of light. What came next was a relentless gale that ripped at Song Shan's body. His figure was gone and replaced with a red cloud, raining down thick crimson droplets into red rivulets. It was clear to all this was the miserable ending. The once excited audience gawked. With how many of them were seeing Zhuo Fan's handiwork for the first time, they were still reeling over how such a monster existed. His power was out of this world. Everyone bore testament to the twins' strength last time. They were no less than the level of the superior three-sex disciples that proved to be a thorn in many of the middle three-sex disciples' sides. Yet these brave and bright geniuses were squashed to nothing at Zhuo Fan's hands with the lightest of actions and in the most horrendous way possible. Zhuo Fan's display had everyone shaking in their seats. Even those that witnessed Zhuo Fan's punch were still unnerved. That strike was unintended and random, while in this fight, the strikes were done with purpose and resolve. The constant show of baffling martial arts had left the people thrilled. Every time I see him, it feels like he's a new man, a new abomination. It puts all my effort into cultivation over the years to shame. Even if I were to fight him, I still can't beat him. Xia Tianchong shook his head and sighed. Wen Tao's face twitched. Tianchong, what the hell had your friend been eating to end up like this? He's inhuman. And you, Han Yunfeng, didn't you say he's going to take 15 minutes against the twins? He barely took a second. How should I know? Han Yunfeng rolled his eyes. I told you he's terrifying. I bet the last punch wasn't even his all. I just can't imagine where all his strength ends. How could a freak like him be allowed in the Double Dragon gathering anyway? How are we supposed to compete with that? Wen Tao eyed him and gave a firm nod of approval. Then his face fell as he spoke bitterly, for crying out loud. I had confidence that many of my plans to deal with the demon scheming sect would work. But how the hell will any of them work when they have such a freak? Humph, ignorance is bliss. That so-called confidence was nothing but blind faith. Han Yunfeng mocked. Wen Tao glared, then sighed. Others had it worse. Heaven Trailing Sect's elder thought the challenge match with Demon Scheming Sect would still go to them. Now though, victory was the last thing on his mind. His team was going to be slaughtered. That valley was a hellscape, fraught with one certain and imminent danger that would pull everyone in, Zhuo Fan. And to make matters worse, their leader Ren Song is completely oblivious to it. And that was the truth of it. In that world, Ren Song had warned the twins to go for Zhuo Fan from the start rather than picking up the leftovers from Demon Scheming Sect. However, the fight was already over. This mighty young Master Ran and the other disciple had not received any message either, a testament to how brief the fight was. Elder Qi was most worried that the young master was still stubbornly holding on to his belief that the enemy was showboating. That's suicide. Elder Chi felt like crying, his heart in a mess. The rumors were true, if not failing to live up to his power. The punk is a terrifying existence. Wu Qingqiu took a deep breath and sighed, his reputation precedes him. Zhuo Fan is outstanding. There might not even be many from the superior 3 sects who can take the twins on, yet this guy did it like nothing. You haven't seen anything yet. Wait till he becomes a true savage. That's when you'll see his power. Yan Mo recalled his miserable experience and sighed, we didn't even get to see his soul yet. Wu Qingqiu cried, soul? He's in the radiant stage and already formed his soul? Oh please, how the hell is he supposed to fight an ethereal stage expert if he didn't have a soul formed? I figured he has some defensive soul treasure on him. That and his incredibly strong body are what helped him score wins. At least, that's how it looked until now. But if he has a soul formed? Wu Qingqiu's face was heavy. Glancing over, Yan Mo sighed, here's a newsflash for you. He doesn't just have a soul form, but it is also something incredible. How do you know? Did you see it? Wu Qingqiu looked at him hard. He nodded, then shook his head, what I mean is, I sort of saw it and didn't. At that time, he only half released it. Yet that was enough to almost take my life. If not for the girl in his arms stopping him, I wouldn't be here talking to you. You fought him and lost? Wu Qingqiu gasped. He knew just how strong Yan Mo was, well not better than him, of course, but he was a true expert in the Western lands. The best genius in Western lands could beat him, no problem, but getting him to leave his life was another matter. It was this expert that almost got cold by Zhuo Fan's power. Just what level is this guy at anyway? Wu Qingqiu turned a startled face at Yi Lin. Junior brother, your opponent is freakishly strong. Of course. How else is he to match me? Yi Lin grinned excitedly, I told you, none of you are worthy of fighting him except me. Because we are destined rivals. Wu Qingqiu gave him a long look, then nodded. Meanwhile, Zhuo Fan finished dealing with 2 flies, and started looking around with a devious smile. Zhuo Fan's eye twitched and charged forward. He clawed at some bush and grabbed a mote of green, Song Lin's soul. Zhuo Fan's right eye flashed golden again, and the mote vanished. Then he disappeared again, appearing high on a tree's branch. He swiped his hand and caught a yellow mote this time. It was Song Shan's soul. With one last disappearing act, Zhuo Fan was back to his original spot, but this time with an extra nasty grin on his lips as he said to the 2 motes in his hands. Go ahead, run. Did you think I didn't see you slipping away when your bodies were pulverized? And you, Song Shan, what the hell were you doing perched up there under a bird's butt? Are you trying to become a chick in your next life? Demon scheming sex disciples snickered over. The 2 souls were shaking in fear. You picked the wrong guy to mess with this time. You up and challenged Steward Zhuo and got what's coming to you. Kuei Lang patted the 2 souls and mocked them. The others laughed along. The Tsong twins were ashamed, crying out in anger. You destroyed our bodies, and now you dare kill us? We are from the Heaven Trailing sect, the head of Tianyu's 3 guardian sects. Head my ass. When we kick you down a notch, we'll be the head. Zhuo Fan grabbed the 2 and knocked them into each other so hard they saw stars. The rest were laughing even harder now. In flashes of light, Ran Song and his gang entered the stage. Seeing the demon scheming sect team laughing and joking, Ran Song looked around, puzzled. Where are Song Shan and Song Lin? Did they get sent to a different area? The plan was to go after Zhuo Fan to catch him off guard the minute they got here. But now, there was no sight of them, and the chance was lost. As for the 2 in question being defeated, that never crossed his mind. He wasn't one to entertain such flights of fancies. The 2 managed to make it hard against all other middle 3 sects, so how would they get done in a flash? But the cruel reality was he couldn't even register what was before him. He just had to mess with the wrong person. Are you thinking they should have been on me the moment they came here? Zhuo Fan mocked. Ren Song's brow shook, and he looked at Zhuo Fan incredulously. How does he know that? Zhuo Fan grinned as if he had read his mind, then shook his head as he extended his palms holding the two motes. Because they did it just now. A shame they lost. Zhuo Fan squeezed, and under Ren Song's shocked eyes, he watched as the two cried their last and scattered into the air. From now on, the head of Tianyu's 3 guardian sects has changed. Zhuo Fan squinted. Qi Chonglong and the others behind him snickered, strutting for Ren Song's team with taunts and jeers. From now on, Tianyu's first guardian sect was taking a rain check. Ren Song squinted as he jerked in fright. It blew his mind, and all his understanding, that Song Shan and Song Lin should charge one enemy only to be squeezed to nothing in the enemy's hands. Such a display left him crushed. And with his hopes gone, that left nothing but fear when he looked at Zhuo Fan. He never saw Zhuo Fan in action, but this was enough to get it through his thick skull that the rumors were true enough to get him killed. He is a monster I can't mess with. A shame he had done it already. However, he had more present and serious matters to worry about, like the ever-approaching Qi Chonglong and his friends with cold smiles. Now even without Zhuo Fan's help, the 6 ethereal stage experts against the only ethereal stage expert on his side, him, and damn radiant stage experts, the rest could do nothing to curb the fear they all felt. Ren Song was sweating buckets, his mouth fell, and he teared up. His teammates looked at their young master with pleading gazes. Even as they knew their young master was in the same boat as them. Qi Chonglong was coming down on them with a savage grin, snapping his finger joints as he made fists. Ren Song kept staggering away, filled with sweat. Young Master Run, who is the cat and who is the mouse, I wonder? Zhuo Fan snickered. Ren Song gnashed his teeth and turned red in anger. The punk is mocking me. Zhuo Fan shook his head and smiled, that's right, I'm here to shame you, but on account of your exquisite manner yesterday, I am inclined to give you a chance. In a team battle, the rule says that the door outside will open after 6 hours, and the fight finishes regardless of the outcome. So didn't you say you're quite familiar with the area? So be a good mouse and scurry along for a hidey hole. And if we find you all in the next 6 hours, then it's only right that the cat gets to eat its prize. Demon scheming sex disciples cracked up, filled with contempt for them. Steward Zhuo wanted to toy with them to their last breath. He's the same as Yen Mo. The audience chuckled and sighed. Such is the way of demonic cultivators. All demonic cultivators are the same, I see. They just love making a show out of their savagery. Wen Tao shook his head. Han Yunfeng glanced over and said, this is called absolute power. You think you'll see something like this in an equal match? True cruelty only shows when one side has an overwhelming advantage. Maybe Zhuo Fan is telling the others through this act that they shouldn't mess with them no matter how strong they are. Wen Tao sighed. Han Yunfeng grinned, then will you still stand in his way? Regardless of the outcome, I would be happy to know I could fight such an expert. Han Yunfeng's heart shook and fell silent. Wen Tao's words cut deep. Fighting a losing battle was unwise. From the sect's standpoint, retreat was welcomed against an impossible adversary. However, to a cultivator whose nature was to go against the natural order, they should fight regardless of adversity and brave any dangers. Having been close to the leadership of a sect, he had forgotten this simple truth, the basic nature of a cultivator. If he balked in fear against this mighty opponent, how would he progress in his cultivation? Suddenly, his eyes focused and flicked in Zhuo Fan's direction. It seems I was mistaken. Wen Tao eyed him and nodded with a smile. That's how a demonic sect's young master should be. 10, 9, 8. Zhuo Fan lifted his arm and started the countdown. Kuei Lang and company grinned in Ren Song's direction, waiting for them to flee like rats. I have never been more insulted in my entire life. Yet when it came to choosing between dignity and life, Ren Song could only think of himself as he ran like the wind under the audience's ridicule. The other disciples thought even less, going after their young master like good gophers. 3, 2, 1. Zhuo Fan's counting was slow, but it ended either way quickly. Kuei Lang and the others grinned as they began the hunt. They sure loved playing around at another's expense. But just as they started, Zhuo Fan's smirk started. "People, let's all relish the game." They looked at each other and nodded before vanishing. Zhuo Fan smiled and was gone as well. The little valley regained its tranquility once the game of cat and mouse began. The two gatekeepers closed their eyes, changing the screen outside the dimension by switching through the monitoring arrays already set up inside in search of any movement.